Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. Tider Insider TV, brought to you by Visit Tuscaloosa.
Really, nothing's going to change. I'm going to make sure I go through my process of, just being the best I can be. I got to make sure that my teammates can count on me and make sure they have confidence in me. And I'm going to make sure that I can, give us the best chance to win.
There you have it. Good evening. Welcome in to the latest edition of Tider Insider Television, presented by Visit Tuscaloosa, alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm WVUA 23 Sports Director Gary Harris. After the scrimmage on Saturday, Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer said that his staff was planning on naming a starter prior to the second scrimmage, and they didn't even wait very far in the week, because yesterday, in front of the team, Coach DeBoer informed the players that Ty Simpson, the fourth-year junior, the redshirt junior quarterback from Tennessee, will be the starter this season. And Rodney, that's what we expected all along. Ty Simpson was, kind of went into the spring as the front runner. Coming out of the spring, offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb said if we played tomorrow, Ty would be the guy, but we don't play tomorrow. You can see this developing. I love the timing of this. I love the fact that they let it be an open competition into fall camp with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell competing as well. But now you're less than 3 weeks till you play your first game. You got to start zeroing in on getting ready to play a game, and I think it's important for the team that they know who the starter is going to be. And now it's public, and Ty Simpson can start operating in a little different fashion.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's got to be a big relief for him. It's something he's obviously been waiting for. Now, Gary, like you said, he can really focus in on becoming prepared mentally to take the field against Florida State in that season opener as the guy. I mean, now Ty is the guy. And finally, it's being named now. I'm with you. I think it's perfect timing for him. And you know what? It's well earned as well.
It really, really is. And I was talking about this on my radio show this morning. There wasn't a time that long ago when this was kind of the norm. You came in at a high-profile program as a quarterback, and you waited your turn. But now, just in the last 5 years ago, so it's like, if you're not starting, you got to go. But this is a guy who learned from Bryce Young, learned from Jalen Milroe, was patient. He's already got his degree. But I think it speaks to, even though the game's changed, if you're in a top-tier program, and that's where you want to be, patience and perseverance can pay off. He's got this year for sure. He's actually has another year if he wants to use it. Rodney, so this isn't just about Ty Simpson in Alabama to me. I think it's a message to all these high-profile quarterbacks. He was a five-star coming out of high school. Sometimes it's not going to happen for you overnight. And I hope these two that are backing him up now take notes as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he waited for his opportunity, Gary. And I think for Ty Simpson, personally, it was good. The wait, even though I know it was tough, it was difficult. I think it built a lot of character, some of the things that you mentioned. But I also think, Gary, it allowed him some opportunity to mature. I think that's something that Ty, look, a lot of people don't understand. He came from a small school in Tennessee. He didn't play against top-level high school competition. That's not taking anything away from Ty. It's a different level when you get here. I don't care what level of high school you play on. You play Duncanville, Texas, one of the premier programs in the country. It's still a big jump. And when you're coming from Martin, Tennessee, it's even a bigger jump. So I think this allowed Ty some opportunity to really mature and develop, and now it's his opportunity, and he's hungry for it.
If you're wondering about his career stats, he's never started a game. He did come in the second half against South Florida a couple years ago and really led Alabama to a comeback victory there. But in his career, he's 29 of 50 for 197 yards, no touchdowns. Has 3 rushing touchdowns, though, on 22 carries for 130 yards, including a 78-yard carry against Chattanooga in 2023, where he dropped the ball at the 1-yard line. And
that was a learning experience.
Yeah, wound up getting an earful there. All right, Rodney, let's talk about the backup job, because the one thing that they did not do is announce who the backup is going to be. So Austin Mack and Keelan Russell will continue to compete for the number 2 job.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I mean, you look at both those guys. I think when you look at the scrimmage, both those guys showed some things and have continued to show some things throughout the fall camp. They're really talented guys. And we talk about, Ty was kind of in front all along, but those two guys competed really hard, and I think when you look at their future, it's very bright.
All right, let's get to the scrimmage. 2 hours, 110 plays. Media was not allowed in, but you had a dynamic scrimmage report that we discussed on my radio show yesterday morning. You had a very good source, former NFL quarterback, obviously former Alabama quarterback that was at the scrimmage. And I have to admit, Rod, reading your scrimmage report, it got me fired up. It seemed like it was everything was just really positive. I kept trying to find a negative from the scrimmage and really couldn't come up with one.
Well, and the good thing is that, like you said, you talk to a lot of different people, and you kind of evaluate what they all say and kind of get different perspectives. And when you do that, Gary, you kind of come to a conclusion. And like you said, everything you heard, no matter who you spoke to, was positive. Mm-hmm. It was really positive things that were taken away from this scrimmage. I think, we talked about Ty Simpson, the offensive line, got a lot of praise from the people I spoke with, got a lot of potential up front offensively, defensively. It's a really fast defense. I think if there's one thing that kind of was a common thread of, hey, maybe this position didn't do as well early on, it was the defensive line. Mm-hmm. I think, and that was, again, give credit to the offensive line. I think based on things you heard, they kind of controlled the early part of the scrimmage. But with that said, you got to remember, James Smith didn't participate. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that has an opportunity to be a really big-time player this year. But also, Gary, you have to consider that the defensive line really tightened up against the run, started developing somewhat of a pass rush. I think they had at least 4 sacks in this scrimmage. So things kind of evened out. Yeah,
speaking of the offensive line, though, with a new quarterback, you want good offensive line play. And as you said, you talked to a number of people. The offensive line was impressive based on your reports.
It was, really impressive. I mean, I think when you talk about the 2 tackles, obviously Wilkin Formby on the right side, Caden Proctor on the left side. Now, Jaden Roberts at right guard did not participate. Gino Vandermark, we talked about the value of having a guy like him who can swing to either guard or center. He steps in. You got Cam Dewberry, who did a really nice job at left guard. You got maybe the best center in the country in Parker Brailsford. But, Gary, some of the younger players, I mean, Olas Lennon is kind of developing into he can play a lot of different spots.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, he can do it all. And, I mean, you have to have those guys. They're really valuable and important. And then the young tackles, whether it's, on the left side, Jackson Lloyd, the true freshman, Michael Carroll on the right side, those guys showed a lot of promise. So, and William Sanders stepped in and played some of the local product out of Brookwood, some at left guard. So, when you look at all that, you see the talent and then the development of coming along. I mean, that's real promising to have that kind of depth.
It really, really is. And we know about the wide receiving group. But this running back core, Jam Miller is an established starter, but behind him, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, kind of a bruiser, 2 true freshmen, the transfer Dre Washington. This is a group that there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of versatility, it appears, with this running back core.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, Jam Miller really ran, from what we hear, from what we're told, really ran like, with some abandon, some physicality. And I think that's something you want to see. And we talked about, and I know Alabama fans, we've gotten calls about this, Gary. Well, what about the running game? They lined up and ran downhill based on what we were told by people who played the game. That they lined up, they were physical up front, and the running of Jam Miller. But also, you mentioned, of course, Richard Young, but the one that really you kind of hear a lot about is Daniel Hill. And we've talked about him quite a bit from Meridian, 240-pound sledgehammer. Got a little bit of movement to him. He can bounce it to the outside, and he's got really, really good hands. Surprisingly good hands, for a guy of his size. So that running back room, there's other guys, Dre Washington, of course, Kevin Riley. You mentioned A.K. Deere, the true freshman, and so forth. But it's a good group.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like it could be a dynamic and, as you said, with Daniel Hill, a physical group as well. All right, now it's time for Coach Talk. With Ty Simpson named the starter, Alabama offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb talked about Simpson and how he won over the team, and not just the coaching staff, but his teammates as well.
Ty did a really nice job of, taking care of the football. I think number one, I think Ty is an incredible playmaker on the move, and I think from there, guys like that, you worry, are they going to be able to train themselves to be able to take care of the football? And I just, even the room in general, Ty led that charge, but Ty didn't throw any picks last week. He's thrown 1 all camp. We've thrown 4 total this camp, and this spring, I think at this time, we had thrown 15.
All right, real quick follow-up, Rodney, before we go to the break. This seems like a popular decision. And again, I want to speak to Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, who can continue to compete for the backup job. I think, and again, we're not there every day. We haven't been able to watch practice for a couple practices now, but I feel like they're on the same page too, and they understand, much like Ty did, that you're at one of the best programs in the country. Your time is going to come. I just feel like we've been talking about alignment a lot this offseason. I feel like these quarterbacks are in alignment, and I think the two that didn't win the job understand why Ty did.
Yeah, I mean, again, the experience and they understand they're developing. And here's another thing, Gary. We talk about all that stuff. It's the trust. Mm-hmm. They have trust in this coaching staff, Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, Ryan Grubb. Those guys are honest with them. They're up front with them. There's not a lot of questioning about motives and agendas and all that type of stuff. They trust this coaching staff.
All right. Well, still to come on Tider Insider Television, the SEC schedule for Alabama men's basketball is out. We'll take a look at the Tide's conference opponents, including the 3 home and away opponents, and find out where Alabama football landed in the Associated Press preseason top 25. Now, listen, we're all pumped up and excited, but still, this is the lowest Alabama's been ranked in the AP poll since 2008. And coming up, your phone calls, emails, and tweets. The phones got lit up last week. Let's do it again. 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Go ahead and give us a call, or you can email us at the address on your screen. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. 25 years on the air. Tider Insider TV will return after these commercial messages. The SEC released the men's basketball schedules, and for Alabama, going to be a heck of a schedule. Their 3 home and homes, which are really what you're focused on, are Auburn, Mississippi State, and Tennessee. It's just like Alabama goes to Knoxville every year now. Even if they don't have them home and home, they get them in Knoxville. But it's going to be a great schedule. Of course, the non-conference schedule is loaded as well. But Alabama men's basketball, when you're a big-time program, you play a big-time schedule, and that's what Alabama is doing. Welcome back into TITV, presented by Visit Tuscaloosa. Go to visittuscaloosa.com. With Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. All right, Alabama football in the polls is something that we always look forward to because we expect Alabama to be, 1, 2, or 3 here. That's changed a little bit. But Alabama ranked number 8 in the AP poll, which is not bad. But that's the lowest ranking for the Tide since number 24 back in 2008, Rodney. But that year, Alabama ran the table, went 12-0, ranked number 1, and lost a heartbreaker to Florida, ranked number 2 in the SEC championship game. So not starting nearly as far back as they did that year, but still, 8 is. I like that position. You can kind of pounce. You know what I mean?
Listen, I really like it, especially for this team. I think they feel like maybe they've got something to prove, and you know what? What do the rankings really matter at this point? You pointed out 2008, the jump that Alabama made. I mean, go out and win games; they'll be fine. I think what's really interesting as I look at this, though, Gary, this is the first time in the history that the University of Texas has been a preseason number 1.
I was stunned by that. As good as that program is, as much tradition, I couldn't believe they had never. That goes back to 1936, Rod. I think to be honest with you, I think Texas fans are surprised.
Look,
I think a lot of them didn't realize
they're embarrassed a little bit.
But they are,
they
are preseason number 1.
Again, yeah, it is, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. All right, the other type of football, Alabama soccer kicks off the season at Louisiana Tech on Thursday. The match begins at 7 p.m. and is a streaming broadcast on ESPN+. Crimson Tide has its home opener this Sunday against Chattanooga at 6 p.m. on SEC Network Plus. Earlier today, 7 Alabama players earned recognition on preseason watch list, including senior standout Gianna Paul. Gianna Paul is good. She was named on all 3 preseason watch lists, SEC, the United Soccer Coaches, and Top Drawer Soccer. All right, still to come on TITV, the NFL season as far as the preseason is underway, and we will always check in on our Bama in the NFL segment. Plus, your phone calls, emails, and tweets. Go ahead and give us a ring. I understand the calls are lining up. 205-348-9882. We want to hear from you, Tider Insider Nation. TITV, we'll be right back. All right, it may be the preseason, but it's still Bama in the NFL. Everywhere you look. Bryce Young only had 1 series against the Browns, but he made it count. 4 of 6 for 58 yards and a touchdown. He looked really, really good. In fact, that touchdown, Rodney, I was going to see if it's, they had to cut to Milroe, but he did that directed traffic deal. Milroe looked good against the Raiders. 6 of 10 for 61 yards, 3 rushes for 38 yards. He had a nice pass play call back and a run call back. John Metchie is coming, after coming through that cancer, is really looking good for the Texans, he had 5 catches on 8 targets for 45 yards. Head coach D'Amico Ryan says he's making an impression. And DeMarco Helms with some big hits in this game. Well, this is Jihaad here. Yeah. So Jihaad Campbell doing his thing. And I thought we had DeMarco Helms in here as well. But because he unloaded on the Falcons. But Bama in the NFL, always good. All right. Let's get to the phone calls. They're lined up for us. Cole is going to lead us off right here in Tuscaloosa. Hey, Cole.
What's up, Gary?
Good.
Is Ty Simpson going to be the next Jake Coker in Tuscaloosa? Is he going to win it off the bat?
Well, Jake Coker did it, and so did Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones started a few games there when Tua was hurt in 2019, but it's his first year as a full-time starter. He took a team to the national championship. So did Jake Coker. You certainly hope so.
Well, that Coker team, they were 14-1. Mm-hmm. He didn't start that game.
That's right.
Cooper Bateman started that game. So actually, he was 14-0 that year.
He was.
Hey, I'd love for Ty to go undefeated this year.
And Mac Jones was 13-0.
And Mike Jones was undefeated.
Yeah.
So I'd love for Ty to do that. Hopefully he will. But listen, I think in terms of quarterback, Ty's got a ton of tools, man. I'm telling you. Grubb talked about his ability to improvise. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of his keys right there. I think he is a real talented kid when it comes to improvisational skills.
Thank you, Cole. And, we hope that it happens for Ty Simpson that way. I guarantee you. Bama fans are excited. Little Kenny in Havana. Hey, Little Kenny.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just want to say Tuesday night, 6:30, Channel 23. That's the one I'm listening to. Will you think, or what will it take for Proctor to play to an Alabama standard this year?
All right, Little Kenny. First of all, thank you for making TITV appointment television viewing for you. I think Ken Proctor is going to be an All-American. That's my opinion. I mean, I do. I mean, I think. Listen, he's 6'7", he's 360 pounds. He's trimmed himself up. He's improved his feet. I mean, I just think that this is the year it happens for him. I think he's going to be a first-team All-American. I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
You're putting the onus on him,
I
aren't
am.
you? Yeah. Well, you should because, I mean, listen, he's very talented. I mean, look, he's had some ups and downs. I get that. He's had some injuries. Last year he was injured before the first play of the season. I mean, so he really struggled through some things with that shoulder last year. I think Caden Proctor's probably in the best condition he's been in. I look forward to him really dominating.
All right, I do too. Still to come on Tighter Insider Television, a few current Alabama golfers making their way to the West Coast to play in the prestigious U.S. Amateur. We'll have more on that. And we'll get to more phone calls and emails, including your email question of the day. Again, the phone number 205-348-9882. Good show tonight. We're having some fun. Let's keep it rolling right here on TITV on WVUA 23. How about this? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 University of Alabama men's golfers competing in the prestigious 2025 U.S. Amateur at the Olympic Club. The famed Olympic Club in San Francisco. The tournament will be played on both the Ocean Course and the recently renovated Lake Course. Golfers Jonathan Grizz, Nick Gross, Luke Powell, William Jennings, and Michael Crocker will all be representing the Tide out in San Francisco. Of course, Nick Dunlap and Jerry Pate, former Alabama golfers that won the United States Amateur. Good luck to those guys. All right, welcome back into TITV with Rodney Orr. I'm Gary Harris. It's time for our email question of the day. Our email question of the day is brought to you by KDM Service Corporation, serving your family like our family. All right, speaking of Nick Dunlap, Steve in Tuscaloosa says, give a shout out to Nick. Let him know the Alabama Nation is still behind him and to keep grinding. So not a question, but yeah, we will. He, after winning a PGA Tour event as an Alabama golfer, as an amateur and turning pro, he won again last year. He was the Rookie of the Year with 2 wins. This year has been tough, Rodney. He has struggled. He has not made a lot of cuts. Did not make the FedEx Cup playoffs, so he will be playing a fall schedule. But yeah, he's still only 21 years old. So, Steve, I agree. Let's support Nick Dunlap. He's just so much happened so fast. I'm sure, Rodney, his head had to be spinning, even though he's got the talent. There's a lot of adjusting when you turn pro. Yeah, it is. It is a hard game. So we will definitely continue to support Nick Dunlap, and hopefully he'll start working some more magic like that again really, really soon. All right, our phone lines are open, I understand, 205-348-9882 if you want to give us a call. Let's take another email question. And this is from Jim in Sparks, Nevada. Thanks for talking about Nothing But a Winner on the program. Will it be on any streaming platforms? Of course, that's the Alabama football movie that Rodney Orr is featured in. And we were on hand for the red carpet premiere in Birmingham a few weeks ago. You were as well. I have seen the clips. I have not seen the movie. I was supposed to be interviewed for that movie. You know, Rodney, I'm ticked off I didn't get it set up. But, yeah, I've heard great reviews on it.
Well, you know, look, we actually had the crew came in and they filmed Tighter Insider
sure
TV. You know, they didn't use any of that. But, yeah, no, as far as your question goes, I'm not really sure on that right now. I know that obviously it's still showing. I know it's showing right now, I think in Hoover, Gary, and I know down in South Alabama and different places. But really, as far as streaming goes, but I tell you what, when we find out, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we sure will. All right, we're going to get one more email question in, and this is from Lori over in Vestavia. How much eligibility does Ty Simpson have left? We kind of touched on that earlier. That's a good question because I think nowadays, Rodney, with the portal and with NIL and the COVID year, people are confused. He is a fourth-year junior, meaning he redshirted, even though he's a graduate. He has 2 years of eligibility left. Now, there is strong feeling that if he were to have a big year this year, which is what everyone's hoping for, that he would go on and go into the draft. But he does have technically has 2 years of eligibility remaining.
Yep. And you know what? Look, like you said, Gary, sometimes that they get waivers and they get another year. I don't think that's something he's, probably going to do. But this year, maybe next year. But like he could end up in the NFL after this season.
Yeah, that would probably be best case scenario. That means he had a great year.
Great scenario.
All right, thanks for the phone calls and the emails. And TITV is going to be coming right back to wrap up the show here on an overcast night in Titletown. We're back after this. On Monday night at the Tuscaloosa River Market, the 2025 Class 6A State Championship Paul Bryant boys basketball team was recognized. They had a special dinner and they got their rings. They, of course, are coached by Sean Peck Love, former Alabama men's basketball player, and the featured speaker was Alabama Director of Football Development, Clinton Dix. Pretty cool night last night. And tonight they're having the Tuscaloosa chapter of the Alabama National Alumni Association kickoff banquet at the River Market with Courtney Morgan as the featured speaker, Alabama football general manager. We'll have that on the news tonight at 10. Redbone tried to get in right before we went to the break. He wanted to know where Jeremy Pruitt's at. Right now he's coaching high school ball over at Pisgah, right, Rodney?
Yep.
And I'm sure at some point looking to get back into the college ranks
I
if
hope
he gets
he
an
does.
opportunity.
I really do.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Tighter Insider TV. If you missed any of it, you can catch a replay tonight at 10:30, following the news at 10, or anytime at WVUA23.com. We're going to leave you with Coach Saban alongside Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox and Governor Kay Ivey celebrating the groundbreaking of the Saban Center. Good night.